Texas. Bally Sports Southwest, the heart of the fan.
Our origin story is a City Connect story. One sparked by the passion of the young mayor of Arlington, Texas, who dreamed of bringing a Major League Baseball team to his city, which connected two major cities with a rich baseball heritage like never before, to play baseball in Arlington. The Dallas-Fort Worth Spurs were born. Their home, Arlington's brand new Turnpike Stadium. And on April 21st, 1972, this ballpark made its Major League debut as the first home of the Texas Rangers. Which means our team that proudly represents the great state of Texas is the result of Mayor Tom Vandergrift's bold vision that brought Dallas and Fort Worth together through baseball. City Connect indeed.
It's a bonus City Connect night tonight for the Rangers as they go Friday and Saturday. Middle game of this series against the Oakland A's. And the Rangers looking for a bounce back today, trying to get a win for the first time in these City Connects. Welcome in again, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski, and it is City Connect Saturday today for this Rangers team. The opener in the new look yesterday, kind of a mixed bag. Played well early, couldn't hold on though, and lost a tough one to the Oakland A's. One guy though, for whom maybe these jerseys agreed, was certainly Jonah Heim.
Jonah Heim, going back to last year, got thrust into that playing time role, unexpected, and he is paying it off now with what he has done so far this year, especially lately. We are seeing the power from Jonah Heim as we take a look at his last 3 home runs. He has had some pretty big ones. Check out where he ranks among catchers right now in the big leagues with his 4 home runs. That slugging of .604, really strong OPS. He is getting it done in a big way with the bat, but also with the glove. We know that Jonah does a great job behind the plate. That was the reason the Rangers brought him here. He's been throwing the ball really well. We saw this last night. He's also been great on the framing side of things. Top 5 when we look at strike rate right now in Major League Baseball.
All right, and today he'll be behind the dish for Andrew Heaney, the 31-year-old lefty, making his 4th start of the year, and he is on a pretty good trend these days. We'll have him in the spotlight with Emily in a moment. It is a City Connect Saturday. The boys look great in this look, and we're looking forward to the game coming up next. Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts and by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better.
is closed, but the fans are filing in as Rangers baseball is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Texas looking to get something going again after dropping the opener of this 3-game series to the Oakland A's. Hopefully another win streak is on tap for these Rangers as Andrew Heaney takes the mound, and he has been quite impressive to start his Rangers career, especially when you look at his last 2 starts, and that's what we find in our Shiner Box Spotlight. When you look at the numbers over the last 2, 10 innings pitched for Andrew Heaney, 10 strikeouts, given up very minimal walks. Obviously has the swing and miss stuff. We saw him match history a couple of starts ago, and Andrew Heaney really starting to get into a groove, just giving up 4 hits over those 10 innings. 14 strikeouts. I shorted him for you guys. 14 Ks for him over his last 2. Looking to continue that trend, maybe even extend his outing a little bit here tonight, CJ.
Yeah, it'd be good to see, right? So far, 5 innings in each of those last 2 outings, but he has been terrific in them. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pitch arsenal for Andrew Heaney. It's very simple. 4-seam fastball, slider, and a changeup, and it really becomes more about the 4-seam fastball and the slider. We won't see a lot of those changeups, but both of those top 2 pitches have been very good for Andrew Heaney here lately.
All right, well, let's see what he will be contending with tonight from these Oakland A's. Oakland now 4-16 with a win yesterday, 8.5 games out. Ruiz leading it off in center. Jordan Diaz at second. Aguilar at first base batting third. It's Rooker, Perez, and Diaz. That's Aledmus at third base batting sixth. Langoliers will DH. Kevin Smith at short, and Connor Capel, the right fielder, bats ninth.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Rally House defense behind Andrew Heaney. You're going to have Travis Jankowski in left, Ludo Taveras in center, and it is Adolis Garcia in right. Josh Young, Josh Smith, Marcus Semien, and Nathaniel Lowe in that infield. Jonah Heim is doing the catching, and as we told you, Andrew Heaney is pitching tonight.
All right, so Heaney's ready to go in his first pitch. That one shanked over to the right side by Ruiz. First strike one, a .299 hitter. Ruiz, a young guy with a lot of promise. There's high hopes that he will develop into a great major league everyday player. He's been involved in a couple of big trades in recent years, now with Oakland. And the 1-1 pitch from Heaney, that one runs in a little bit tight. So as Emily mentioned, the roof closed tonight, kind of threatening weather in the area the better part of the afternoon. Doesn't look too bad out there at the moment. 2-1 pitch, and this one in the air, right field. Long run for Garcia, and that one drops in a fair ball and then bounces out of play. And so that is a Brook rule double for Ruiz. We lose it again, visually we can't see it at a certain point when it gets into that corner.
Ball was in the air for a long time. You got to look at it here and where this thing landed. I thought perhaps Adolis Garcia would have a shot at it if it stayed in play, and you can see it hit the chalk, and he's got to watch it bounce up into the stands.
Well, it looked like he got pretty close. Now, that's tricky when you get that close to a wall and you're going hard. But I don't know, you just get so used to Bowlby making those types of plays, and it's been a weird start to the year that way defensively for Adolis. So a leadoff double for Ruiz, and the pitch to Diaz. This one lined out into right field. That's a base hit. They're going to wave the runner, and Garcia just kind of throws it back into the middle of the diamond. That's an RBI single for Diaz, and just like that, Oakland has a 1-0 lead.
And we're seeing this approach here from the A's early on to the opposite field. This is the changeup, but it's elevated, and just going the other way is Diaz. And I don't think they would have had much of a chance anyway. Quite honestly, this ball hit to the left of Garcia. He's getting to the ball again. Look at that as Ruiz is getting to third, but he decides to come up and throw that in to second base and not take that chance early on here and trying to get the runner.
And so now Aguilar, who takes inside, ball one. So the Oakland A's, just the 9th time this year that they have scored first in a ball game. 1-0, and that's fouled off. 1-1. I will say I have asked on multiple occasions a number of different people just to triple check that Garcia is playing at full strength. 1-1, and that one on the inside corner. And maybe it's just, you know, being spoiled the last couple of years, but I feel like both of those balls are ones where I've seen him more aggressively attack those on the defensive side. 1-2, and that one may have gotten a piece of Aguilar. He seems to think so.
Yep, that slider ended up hitting Aguilar in the foot. You could see him limping down to first base. Let's take a look. Front or back foot? Back foot, right on the top there.
Got him, and he didn't like it a whole lot, turns out. So, 2 men on, a double, a base hit, now a hit batter. Brent Rooker, the hitter, and he takes very high, ball 1.
So obviously looking for that first out here in the first inning, and you'd love to see something on the ground, although that is not the strength of Andrew Heaney. He's swing and miss. He's more of a fly ball pitcher. Just a 30% ground ball rate so far this year, when league average is right around 45%.
And that one misses a little bit up as well.
He's not a lefty that throws the two-seamer that has kind of that natural run to it that can get you those ground balls. He does have the changeup that fades away from the right-handers. That's his best ground ball pitch. That would be the one to try to get 2 on if you could.
3 balls and no strikes on Rooker now, who's a .325 hitter. And he has 4 home runs already. And Heaney delivers, and now he has loaded him up. So, boy, not the start he was hoping for, not the one you've come to anticipate with Andrew Heaney. He's in a lot of trouble here in the first inning.
He's going to get a visit from his pitching coach, Mike Maddox, to try to calm him down a little bit. And we saw John Gray in last night's ball game struggle a little bit, had a hard time getting comfortable from the get-go. He mentioned it after the game. He was pretty honest about how he felt and trying to kind of get reorganized, get back on track. He had a hard time doing it. He was fighting himself, and that was the Andrew Heaney here early on, and looking a little bit discouraged about how he's feeling. We've been spoiled with this Rangers starting staff and how good they have been, how consistent they have been.
Kind of uncharacteristic to see command issues for Heaney as well. I mean, that's the big part of it. You know, he loves the strikeouts. Emily was detailing that just moments ago, how he's been piling those up. But the other side of that is he just doesn't walk guys, generally speaking. Well, here he's hit a batter and walked a man. They're loaded up for Carlos Perez. And he'll go after the first pitch, lofts it into left field. Jankowski gets into his spot, makes the catch. Diaz tags, he'll score, and it's 2-0 Oakland. A sacrifice fly to left field for Perez, his 4th RBI of the year.
You mentioned the walks for Andrew Heaney. Last year, 6.5%. That was his walk rate. League average was about 8.5 last year. This year, however, over 12% for him. So nearly double the walk rate. Now it's early. It's only 3 starts in, but very uncharacteristic of him, as you mentioned.
He's off the plate with ball 1 here to Aledmys Diaz. So just underway tonight, top of the first inning. Heaney already over 15 pitches, just got his first out of the night. And he finds the inside corner. 1-1 on Diaz. Diaz yesterday started the game at second base, ended up 0 for 4. Today gets the start at third, and he'll take inside. 2-1. Been around a little bit, veteran utility man, signed by Oakland as a free agent in December. And he hits this one on the ground, third base. Young will go to second. One, Semien off to first. In time, double play. Well, they got a lot of guys on. Oakland cashed in a couple, but a double play gets Heaney out of any further damage. And now the Rangers coming to bat. Snapping up a lot of this City Connect gear. It's been a hot seller this weekend. Been a lot of fun.
Big lines early today, probably say maybe 3 hours before gates even opened. I was coming over to the ballpark and noticing that people were outside the Grand Slam store trying to get in. So they got a lot of cool stuff over there.
They do. They do. It's been pretty fun here these first couple of days. Let's take a look at this Rangers lineup. They need to get something going here tonight. Semien leading it off at second, Jankowski in left field, and then Nathaniel Lowe. It'll be Garcia, Young, and Heim in the middle. Brad Miller DHs tonight, Josh Smith at shortstop, and the center fielder, Leody Taveras, rounds it out.
And tonight they go against the right-hander, Shintaro Fujinami. Big right-hander, 6'6". And he's got some heat to him. We'll take a look at the numbers now. They have not been pretty for him. He's 0-3 with an ERA over 11. And you can see the high walks there, 9 of them so far. Respectable batting average against. A couple of home runs allowed.
1-1 to Marcus Semien. It'll be the first look the Rangers have ever had. Fujinami in his first year with Oakland, a 10-year career in Japan. 1-1 and a swing and a miss.
You see it there at 97. At times he can touch those triple digits. Hard thrower. Some pretty good secondary offerings.
Here comes his 1-2. And that is the split finger fastball, which he throws hard. It missed for ball 2. But that's kind of a unique offering as well.
It is, and he cut that one almost to make it look like a slider. Whether that was intentional or not, I don't know. There's another one. Now his split, somewhat similar to Nate Eovaldi's split, where it's not real big. It's not almost like that forkball type that you get from Kodai Senga, Yu Darvish, guys that have thrown kind of the deeper split. It's a firmer split finger with less movement.
Ooh, 100 miles per hour with the fastball, but he missed badly.
How about that guy? Did you see the guy in the suite back there? You can't help but react. You're not going to get hit, but he got out of the way just in case that 100-mile-an-hour fastball went through the net. It's this guy in the gray polo shirt over there. Look out! Well, you know what? He wouldn't have got out of the way in the time. That would have caught him in the dome.
Yeah, that would have left the mark. Go on your toes down there. So a walk to Marcus Semien. This is after Oakland scored 2 in the top of the first. And that one grew for a strike to Jankowski. Travis batting second today at .333 average. Check that. .313 average. And he shoots this one just foul. All right, so get that lead man on. And if there's one thing about Fujinami that stands out, at least from the Rangers' perspective, it might be that he does have some command issues from time to time. See, the stuff's pretty electric. Can he keep it in the zone? The 0-2 pitch, and this one bounced up the middle. That could be two. A late arrival at second, though, by Diaz. So they only get the one. Semien forced out. And the way Jankowski moves, there was probably little chance anyway.
Yeah, and the way that the defense was set up here, you can see Diaz is in the hole with the left-hander Jankowski hitting, and so they just had to wait for him to get there, and he was just making sure he got the out at second and not even thinking about trying to turn two at that point.
All right, so one out, and Nathaniel Lowe. And he goes after the fastball for strike one. Lowe just 2 hits in his last 15 at bats, the last 4 games. Had that 11-game hitting streak ended, and has had a little bit of trouble here the last couple of days, at least by his standards. So what do you do if that's the case? I guess you shave off the mustache. He's got a new clean look going today.
Kind of like his clean look.
See if it translates into the power bat maybe tonight. There's
we know he's superstitious. Obviously, we had him mic'd up for 1 game, had a couple of tough at bats, infield groundouts. He took the microphone off and hit a homer. He will never wear the microphone again. Pretty safe to say, which is unfortunate because it is fun to have Lowe mic'd up.
Jankowski with a small lead. 101 right on the corner. Not much Lowe could do with that. A strikeout for the second out of the inning.
It's pretty special. You can locate 101, 4-seam fastball grip, and that is really well located. Now we've seen that same triple-digit fastball get thrown to the screen and then some, and I think that's kind of what you get here. Fujinami, and just the inconsistency of the fastball, and drives guys crazy. It's hard enough to hit 101 as it is. Are you going to paint it, or are you going to throw it to the backstop?
Whoa, Garcia gets into one. That's going to go a long way. Gone! 2-run homer for Adolis Garcia. And he's erased the deficit quickly. It's a tie game.
This slider sat right in the heart of the plate, a little get me over, and Garcia let it fly, and he knew it right away as soon as he hit it. Watch this right here. Yeah, that one was gone in a big way. And Adolis Garcia having a little fun here in the first inning. You forget that he played in Japan briefly.
Well,
not sure if he ever faced Fujinami or not, but he has now.
So now the 1-0 to Josh Young, and this one out to the alley in right field, drops in for a hit. Boy, Josh Young just keeps it going. It's on base every day. That's a 10-game hitting streak now for him.
Nice piece of hitting here too. 4-seam fastball middle in. He doesn't try to get pull happy. He stays inside, barrels it up. Nice line drive to right center. When you're locked in and having a hitting streak the way that Josh Young is right now, these are the kind of things that go your way. These kind of approaches you love seeing. You know your swing is right, and you can take that inner third heater and hit it that hard to right center.
So now Jonah Heim, who we featured in the open for what has been a pretty hot bat for him, and he takes strike one. The former Oakland A's catcher, now a Ranger, and he extended his hitting streak to 4 games last night. He'll take just outside 1-1. He's homered now in 4 of the last 8 games, so it hasn't just been collecting hits. He's been hitting with pretty regular power. And 1-1, and there's a swing and a miss.
There's that split at 93 miles an hour. Again, not a big deep one, and just enough to get guys off the fastball.
So this will be the 20th pitch of the inning for Fujinami. Pardon me, is a 1-2 pitch. That's a little close.
It cries for an A at the end. It feels like it should be an A. I check myself every time. Slow myself down a little bit, look at it, make sure I have it right.
We still have to get familiar with him. His first year here playing in the States from Osaka, Japan. 2-2. And it's a full count.
He played for the Hanshin Tigers over there, storied franchise in Japan. If you've ever seen highlights of the Koshien, the high school tournament that they have in Japan, that's their home ballpark in Hanshin. They go on the road for something like 3 weeks in the middle of the year because of that high school tournament, if you can believe that.
Wow. 3-2 pitch, runner goes, and that's ball 4 on Heim. So the Rangers with a couple of base runners now with 2 outs and letting him off the hook easily. Starting to feel a little bit like last night when the Rangers scored 4 runs in the first inning and very nearly had J.P. Sears knocked out of the game. And then Sears turned around, got out of that inning, and would pitch incredibly well, getting his team to the 7th inning in a 1-run game. So it was a brilliant turnaround for him. Little visit for Fujinami. Now for our Choctaw Casinos and Resorts game within the game. He does not fare well with runners in scoring position this year, at least to this point. And the Rangers, meanwhile, that's kind of their jam. Best in baseball with a .359 average, with runners at second and or third base. Brad Miller, the DH. And he'll take down the middle for a strike.
So there's a split there. Didn't look like it, right? Almost looked like a little cutter. That was a split finger. He's had a really tough time not walking left-handed hitters. They haven't hit him very well, but he's had a hard time staying in the strike zone consistently to them. And a lot of it is middle away and off the plate. Fastball missing away. You just saw that pitch missing away. That was a split. Arm side command has been an issue for him against left-handed hitters.
Bouncer up the middle, and that should end the inning. It does. Smith with a clean throw over to first. But the Rangers tie it up.
Adolis Garcia right in the middle of all the action here in the first inning. Slider down the middle, and he absolutely drills this thing out to left field for his 5th home run of the season.
In Arlington, 2-2 tie between the Rangers and the A's, and I've got some good news to report as Jacob deGrom will make his scheduled start tomorrow. We talked about the bullpen he threw yesterday. They were waiting to see how he responded to that. All signs are a go. They do not feel there is any need to be concerned about Jacob deGrom. They'll monitor him just like they would anybody else, or just like they would have before, he had the issue, but they really do feel like he is a full go and everything is business as usual for Jacob deGrom.
Certainly really encouraging. They waited to kind of the last second to confirm that, which
always makes you just a little bit nervous. But Jacob deGrom healthy, ready to go, and so we'll get him tomorrow to finish up this series. And that was the game he had against the Royals when he had to come out after 4 no-hit innings of absolute domination.
Well, Heaney goes 1-2 on Langeliers. DHing today, Langeliers, after a great day behind the plate yesterday. And that one is wide.
So hopefully the 2 runs that the Rangers scored, you get some of that momentum back. You get the big double play to finish the inning. He did do that with the changeup, and he's got 8 righties in this lineup tonight, so the changeup could be featured a little bit more than usual for Andrew Heaney.
He's trying to count full on the 7th place hitter. That'll be Kevin Smith, and Connor Capel also do this inning. Here's the payoff to Langeliers, and it is high, ball 4, second walk already tonight. We have a moment now to hear from Kia.
The all-powerful Kia SUVs assembled in Georgia.
So the lead man on, just as he was in the first inning for Oakland. Kevin Smith, a 139 hitter, steps in at the right side. Rangers setting up in hopes of a ground ball up the middle, and there is strike 1 to Smith.
And he certainly wants to get back on track in the strike zone. Just 44% strike so far in this game. 26 pitches in. He wants to see that number about 20% higher.
Oh, and 2. Heaney, in his first year as a Ranger, signed a 2-year deal in early December. And he strikes out Kevin Smith, his first punch out tonight.
This is the fastball we remember when he struck out 9 in a row 2 starts ago. That fastball plays up really well. You can see it up and in at 92 miles an hour. He's just got that good attack angle. Ball continues to have carry, and when Andrew Heaney's going well, you see a lot of barrels right underneath that fastball. Timeout or violation?
Timeout.
Oh.
Yeah, Capel, before the at-bat even began, wanted an extra moment. And so Heaney comes right after him there with a fastball for strike 1.
It's the only lefty he gets in the lineup, and Andrew Heaney has been very good against lefties, hitting just 182 against him this year.
Where Capel's pretty deliberate between pitches, and of course now with no timeout at his avail, it might behoove Heaney to work quickly on him. There's a swing and a miss, and they count quickly 0-2.
He looked surprised by that fastball that jumped on him. Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, I got to believe for the guys, when it's 15 seconds and nobody on, and then it's 20 seconds with a runner on, that 20 seconds probably feels pretty long when you get so used to a 15-second clock with nobody on base.
0-2. And a bouncer left side of the infield. Young charging. He'll go back to second for 1. No chance to turn a double play on that ball. But a good job by Young to get that lead runner as they force out Langeliers.
It's a really good job. I thought Josh Young was actually just going to go to first base here, because this is a difficult throw to go across your body while you're running in. Defensive swing from Capel, and Josh Young, look at this, very nicely done to make sure you get at least 1 at second base. Like you said, no chance to turn 2. The easy play, the less risky play, is just to take the out at first.
So now Ruiz, and he takes upstairs ball 1. Esteury Ruiz, speedy center fielder. Long hold, and that one a little bit high. 2 balls and no strikes. He had the double in the first inning and scored the first run of the night. Out of the leadoff spot yesterday, drove in a run, also laid down a sacrifice bunt in the 5th inning. He fouls that one away. That gentleman who we showed in the first inning flinching at the ball that went back to the screen. He's going to wake up in the morning like a little sore in some spots. He's going to wonder what the heck. He's right in the firing line. Yeah, you keep coming back right in his direction. 2-1. And Heaney in another deep hole in this at bat. Now he's 35 pitches in.
Tried to throw the behind in the count changeup there in the 2-1 count and trying to get contact, but that one was just way wide. It's not a bad pitch behind in the count if you can get it in the strike zone.
That'll make the count full right there. It's his third 3-ball count already tonight. First two ended up walks. All right, can he get a shutout, a scoreless second inning after the Rangers put up a pair? 3-2 to Ruiz, and it's popped up. That one will end up in the seats. Oakland, as I mentioned earlier, a 4-16 record. Yesterday's win put an end to a 7-game losing streak for Mark Kotsay. Chewing on those sunflower seeds, watching nervously from the bench. His second year at the helm in Oakland. 3-2. They were in desperate need of a victory. The worst start in franchise history, tying the Philadelphia A's of 1919 and 1951. Here's a bouncer shortstop. Smith will fire it across to first in time, and that ends the inning. And so Heaney does come back and post a 0. We've played an inning and a half so far tonight. This game tied at 2. Uncable yourself. Get fiber internet. A little Saturday hustle around here at Globe Life Field. So we go to the bottom of the second inning. A 2-2 score. Both teams with a pair of hits. Both teams have stranded 2 runners. Josh Smith will lead it off here. 8th place hitter, then Leody Taveras, and back up to the top of the order. And Josh started after that, stopped. It didn't matter. It was a good pitch from Fujinami for strike 1. Throws hard. And there you see another example at 97, and did not get a call there on a pretty good pitch. 1-1. Has the hard split-fingered fastball he throws as well. And the Rangers, they may have gotten a little stroke of luck tonight that the roof is closed with the split-fingered fastball. Suggested anyway is the 1-2. in the dirt. Some of the hitters were saying that they feel like knuckleballers and guys who lean on the split, sometimes their stuff can be even that much more difficult when there's a little bit of a breeze.
100%. You like having actually a little bit of wind in your face, even for a two-seam fastball, good changeup, something for it to kind of work against to get more movement out of. I would agree with that.
Payoff pitch to Smith and a bouncer up the middle. Backhand stop by Diaz and a slow one-hopper beats Smith for the first out of the inning. We'll bring up Leody Taveras.
So yeah, you mentioned that split finger, and even with the roof closed tonight, it's been a good one for him. Tremendous whiff rate that he has gotten on that pitch so far this season. 56% of the time that pitch is swung on and missed. League average for that pitch is 37%. So it's been well above average for him when it comes to the split finger.
It's 1-0 to Leody, and this one in the air out to left field into center, and it's bobbled out there by Ruiz. Heck of an effort. Looked like he was going to take one away from Leody. Instead, tumbled headlong, and the ball came loose. And so Taveras has a one-out double.
Nice break for the Rangers, because he certainly looked like he had a beat on this and looked like he had it in his glove. You're going to watch him ranging to his right and trying to time it right. And it looked like he had the timing, but perhaps it got him just, yeah, right in the, down by the hand there and in and out of the pocket.
Yeah, surprise. That's a tough break.
Applauding the effort, or he thought he caught it. I think Fujinami thought he had it.
Yeah, I think for a little bit there, it looked like it was a sure out. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. Taveras with good speed at second, and that one is upstairs. 1-1. Semien walked in the first inning. Yesterday, Marcus 0 for 3 with a walk. And so that ended his 6-game hitting streak. That one to the backstop, and Leody will get to third. That thing got away from everybody. And a third, and now look at our Ford leaderboard.
And take a look at our RBI leader since April 11th here in the American League. Loaded up with Rangers, Garcia, Marcus Semien, and Jonah Heim. And now an opportunity here for Marcus Semien to drive in another.
Scored a wild pitch a moment ago there. That one fouled away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So now a simple fly ball will get a run in. Infield drawn in. Marcus fights off another one. So everybody is up on the edge of the grass by the time the pitch is thrown. It's a great spot for a hitter, especially with his quick infield. 2-2 to Semien. And that one is in the air, but foul.
So the number keeps growing as we go along here and get deeper into the game. But coming into this one for Fujinami, he had not allowed a hit on 2 strikes and hasn't yet all year long. It's been pretty amazing to see with him. Only starter in baseball, I see the number right there, to not allow a 2-strike hit. Came in 17 batters faced. He's already had a couple of 2-strike counts here tonight. Had one against Nathaniel Lowe, another one against, what was the other one? I haven't marked it down. Anyway, he's had a couple. You're just going to have to trust me.
Two balls and 2 strikes. This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat. Here it comes. Whoa. Full count.
Told you, arm side for him, right? That's why he's had such an issue with lefties. He has a hard time getting that fastball on the plate. Now for the righties, that means some close shaves with some fastballs that have been up and in off the plate.
Taveras just 90 feet away down there at third base. There's a 3-2, and it's fouled off again. Well, look, the other thing about Fujinami, you mentioned the 2-strike stat, but he had not allowed a run in the first 2 innings this year of any game. In fact, had held opposing hitters to 1 for 19 with no walks in the first 2 innings this year. Well, the Rangers have 3 hits on him, a couple of walks already. The 3-2 pitch, and that one is rifled into left field. That's a base hit. Taveras scores easily. Semien with the RBI single on the 10th pitch of the at-bat. And the Rangers are in front 3-2.
Well, it's good to see the Rangers breaking some of these trends against Fujinami. Now this is a slider. He's trying to just throw a strike. Not a great idea when you have Marcus Semien hitting. He elevated it a little bit too much. And so there's the first 2-strike hit of the season that Fujinami has allowed to go along with the couple of runs that he has allowed in the first 2 innings, which is something he hadn't done all year.
So the former Oakland Athletic, Marcus Semien, doing damage against his old club. Now Jankowski reached on a fielder's choice, scored a run in the first. And hits it on the ground. That one is through into right field for a base hit. Semien stops at second. Back-to-back singles. 3rd hit of the inning. And the Rangers setting up for a little more here.
And Jankowski not waiting around. Fastball, look at that, right down the middle. He hit it on the ground, but it was a good pitch to handle. And he had some room to work with Marcus Semien over at first base. That opened up some room on that right side.
All right, so Nathaniel Lowe, he struck out looking on a 101-mile-per-hour fastball in the corner his first time up. And he pushes that one foul for strike 1. Bouncer foul, 0-2.
So this is interesting with Fujinami and some of the struggles that he has had. How about second time through the order, a batting average against of over 400. That's where we are right now. And the Rangers so far 2 for 2 against them.
In the dirt, runners will hold though. Nobody advances.
Good block here by Perez. This is the split finger. You never know what's going to happen, right? As that ball catches the plate, is it going to skip? Is it going to bounce high? Is it even going to hit the plate? The reaction of that baseball is going to be a lot different depending on whether or not it hits home plate.
Ooh. 2-2. Pitches piling up for Fujinami here in these first 2 innings. A little wobbly there in the first when the Rangers plated a couple of runs. There's another run here in the second. And Lowe strikes out swinging. 2 away.
Let's go ahead and take a look at a little StatCast powered by Google Cloud with Adolis Garcia stepping in. What we saw in his last at-bat was a first pitch slider right down the middle, and he turned on it in a big way and absolutely hammered the ball to left field. And you can see it went a long way for Adolis Garcia, 432 feet.
There's a 50th pitch of the night. Look out, that one got Garcia, and he is none too pleased.
Doesn't happen too often. We don't see Garcia get upset. We know he gets pitched inside a lot. However, got a couple of things working here, right? The big home run that he hit, He had some fun with it, held on to his bat. I won't say he pinned it, but it's become kind of standard in today's game. And now you got a guy with a big fastball who's missing arm side a ton. It's been consistent tonight. It just doesn't look good, and you can understand why Garcia would be upset.
Got him on that left wrist. The umpires convening near the mound right now, trying to decide how best to handle this.
Well, you always have that situation, right, where if you issue warnings, which I know the Rangers wouldn't like right now because that puts Andrew Heaney in a bad spot. If they feel like they owe one to the A's, well, Andrew Heaney, if they issue warnings, would be ejected from the game immediately if he were to hit somebody. And you certainly don't want that to happen.
Well, let's see. No signal yet, so they will play it as a simple mistake for the moment. Bases loaded, one out. And this already the third visit tonight by Oakland. You are limited now in how many times you can visit the mound. I'll tell you what, they got an incredible bounce back effort last night by J.P. Sears. Really saved their bullpen. And you can see that the conversation from here, just body language, looked like the message delivered there was like, look, man, you can't wear out the bullpen here. We got to get some innings. You got to get some outs here.
Yeah, Sears kind of saved the day a little bit yesterday. It looked like that bullpen was going to have to eat about 8 innings, and then he got deep into the game. And we know the starting pitching has struggled, and we have seen the bullpen struggle as well. Pitching all over has been an issue for the Oakland A's.
So they're loaded up now, and Young fouls off strike one. Josh had a base hit in the first, which extended that hitting streak, now at 10 games. And a terrific start for the rookie. And that's tight. 1-1. Semien at third, Jankowski at second, and Garcia, after being hit by the pitch, at first. 1-1, and that one misses. So he had not allowed a run in his first 3 starts in the first 2 innings of the game. Today the Rangers got him for 2 in the first, another here in the second, and bidding for a whole lot more at the moment. Here it comes, and this one on the ground, that's through, base hit, 1 run is in. Here comes Jankowski, they'll never get him. A 2-run single by Young, and the Rangers with a 5-2 lead.
They needed that one, especially after what we saw in last night's ball game, scoring early and then getting shut down the rest of the way. Here's a split finger that does not do very much. There goes Josh Young once again, hooks this baseball to the left side, finds himself some room for that base hit, and as you mentioned, 2 very easy RBIs. That's a big hit by Josh Young in this inning. You did not want to let him off the hook with just that 1-run lead. It felt like it should have been a big inning, and it has been.
And now Jonah Heim. He walked in the first. Good fastball there, fouled away. Well, a lot of traffic here in the early going. Rangers 5 runs on 6 hits. Jonah serves that one foul as well. The count 0-2. I'll tell you what, Jonah as a backstop brings a good deal of power to the game. Home runs while playing catcher. Jonah, 20 of them. Cal Raleigh of Seattle, JT Realmuto with the Phillies, the only catchers with more. And Heim right now is on a little power run. Pulls this one on the ground foul.
Now he looks locked in. He went through a phase there for a little while where he was getting beat by the fastball. He was falling into some old habits. The old habits for him was the inability to get to the high fastball and also the inability to lay off of it. But since then, he has corrected the course pretty quickly. And he's been locked in certainly lately. So So got some action down in that open bullpen.
Adrian Martinez. 0-2. And that one lined into center. That's a base hit. That'll score at least one more, maybe more. Around third base, Young. Here he comes. He's in. A two-run double for Jonah Heim. And the Rangers on top 7-2.
And another two-strike hit for the Rangers. We mentioned it with Fujinami. He had not allowed a two-strike hit all year long. Here's the split. Not a bad one, but still, it doesn't have great depth. And look at Jonah Heim going down to one knee and going down and getting that split. Back knee to the ground, little left-handed Adrian Beltre-like.
Yeah.
For that 2 RBI double.
And now the 9th batter of the inning. And that one way up and out. Miller grounded out 2 in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. As you can see, he's been getting on base at a pretty steady clip lately. Pulls that foul, 1-1. Wow, this is getting into a danger zone here with Fujinami. He's thrown 35 pitches this inning. He's at 60 already and not through 2. 1-1. And that one on the ground, right side. Good pick by Aguilar. And he'll get it to Fujinami covering to end the inning. But a 5-run uprising in the second for the Rangers. They've broken the tie and they have the 7-2 lead. And there's he's the best dressed man in baseball, make no mistake about it. Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City, paying a visit and joining us in this third inning as Andrew Heaney gets us going. And you gotta love it. Bob, first of all, great to have you. Thanks for coming. And we always feel a little insecure today. Normally we're knotted up. Today we said we're going polos because Bob's going to be here and he's going to outdress us anyway.
No, guys, thanks so much for having me. I've had a tremendous weekend here in Dallas, Arlington, and checking out this beautiful new ballpark, man. It is spectacular.
Yeah. So Dave said you sleep in a 3-piece suit. Is that accurate?
Well, 3-piece pajama set.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. We saw you in Kansas City just a couple days ago. I was like, man, Bob, he's always like, you're outdoing everybody all the time. You are a fine dressed man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Where does that come from? Why are you always so?
You know what? I think it's part of the costume of being what I do in the Negro Leagues, because you go back and look at those old photographs, you go to those Negro League games, and everybody was immaculately dressed. It was as much a social event as it was a recreational event. So you went to see, and you went to be seen. And so the men wore their hats and everything. And so I feel like I'm part of that period, the way that, you know, we go about doing our business, and I enjoy it. And so, but it was a fashion show when you went to those Negro League games.
So all those messages that you bring to the current players when you're visiting, maybe that one needs to come along. Listen, we're on the airplane with some of these guys. It is not like it used to be. Like when I first came up, and think about Ruben Sierra and Cecil Theodore, I played with Barry Larkin. These guys out-dressing each other all the time. Days are over, Bob. They need a talking to by you.
Matter of fact, the young ball players, when they would come up, the veterans would go get them suits.
Yes,
that's right.
They would go get them suits, and it was the same in the Negro Leagues. The late, great Buck O'Neil said a young ball player would come up to play for the Kansas City Monarchs, and the first thing they would do would take him to the tailor to get 2 suits made. He would sign for them because they hadn't made any money yet, and then pay when he got his first check. But that was part of it. You never saw the ball player outside the ballpark not immaculately dressed.
That still existed even in the big leagues here into the 90s. I had that conversation when I first broke in, and then there was a real popular guy in New York City where everybody went to all the time. He was right across the street from the team hotel, and I stopped in some early 2000s, and he said, CJ, it's over. These guys are making too much money now. They're making good money right from jump, so they don't need somebody to buy them a suit anymore. And so that tradition, sadly, has kind of gone away.
No, it's too bad because there was something about it. You know, even now when I go on the plane and you can see the flight attendants look at you a little different when you come in and you kind of present yourself in such a way because it's so opposite to what they see typically, because people now really are in their pajamas on the plane now. So, but now I enjoy it, man. And like I said, I think it's part of the costume and capturing the essence of what Negro Leagues baseball was all about.
Okay, now for people like us, right, we're all the similar vintage. That was a real part of the attraction for me, right? There was more to it than simply balls and strikes, runs and errors, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it was the spectacle of the event. All the participants, the audience, all of it. And you do capture that really well at the museum as well.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. There was something special about it, particularly for the African-American community, because this was something that was intrinsically ours that was shared with others. And so there was great pride about those games. Negro Leagues baseball meant so much in those African-American communities because it was, again, a social event. So this was people leaving church, going to the ballpark, dressed to the nines, looking good, to see their stars perform. And so it was special.
Let's talk ballparks a little bit. And as far as ballparks that are still remaining, I know obviously few and far between at this point, but those that are still standing, we know we'll hear about projects in places like New Jersey and other spots where they're trying to save these ballparks. I think Hamtramck as well, if I'm not mistaken, in Detroit. Give us a little update there, maybe some of the history of things that are going on and how important it is to preserve these ballparks.
Well, Hinchcliffe Stadium in Paterson, New Jersey is very close to opening. They saved that old historic landmark. I was there when it was designated as a historic landmark so that it could not be raised. And I remember standing on the blacktop that would have been the infield there. And obviously, as a steward of the story, man, it gave me chills to know that Larry Doby had played there. Monty Irvin had played there. Josh Gibson had played there. This litany of great stars that called the Negro Leagues home.
Yeah, so, you know, in recent years, Major League Baseball has tapped into something really pretty special with the ball game in Dyersville, Iowa, right? And man, it's evoked some real feelings, I think, for a lot of people, and it's been an enormous success. Tell me that we got something happening, something percolating somewhere to bring it back to one of these old Negro League ballparks.
Well, I got my fingers crossed and hoping that this will happen. I know that there have been a lot of folks like yourself who want to see this happen. And I think baseball is listening. I think baseball is listening, and its efforts, which is a sincere effort to try and bring the African-American fan back to this game as we are attempting to grow our sport again. You know, that's why my visit over to the beautiful Urban Youth Baseball Academy was so meaningful to me, and to see those young people who were completely engaged as I was sharing this history, and they're falling in love with this game. but they're also learning about their place in this game. We have a tremendous legacy in this game that so many of them don't know. But as my late mother would say, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Yeah. And so we've got this great museum in Kansas City. But, man, I can't wait for them to come to Kansas City and see me. I've got to go to them. And the fact that we were able to hand out to all the kids the new MLB The Show 23 video game that includes the Negro Leagues in it. And the fact that there were already some who were familiar with hearing me being a part of a video game. Now, who would have ever thought that old Bob would be in a video game, man? It is surreal, but we're reaching that generation where they are. And they are falling in love with the Negro Leagues. And they're falling in love with these stories that shape the story of the Negro Leagues. I couldn't be more thrilled. I was on the field yesterday talking to Chris Young, and his youngest son was there. And his youngest son was telling me about Satchel Paige's B-ball, which is part of the video game. And that the reason that Satchel called it the B-ball is because Satchel says, it bees where I want it to be when I want it to be there.
I could never throw a B-ball. I wish I could. But listen, I was talking to Dallas Braden next door, of course, does games for the Oakland A's, and he brought up the video game. I was unaware. And he says, well, he's very honest. He goes, I still play video games. And he goes, I'm telling you, ask Bob about MLB The Show. And he says, you force your kids to do it. He's telling me, he's like, force your son. If they're not already doing it, force your kids, your boys and girls, to go play this because, yeah, it's a game, but you're learning along the way you're talking about. And I was unaware. I didn't realize that this was part of it. It seems pretty amazing.
Well, it has overwhelmed me how, number one, how large this digital platform really is. That gaming community is substantial. And now this legion of young people and young adults are learning about the Negro Leagues. And not only they're learning it, they're absorbing it because they're having fun at the same time. Now, I knew that as we were introducing these players, I mean, what's not to love about Satchel Paige? But then they're learning about the great Martin Dihigo, the legendary Cuban ball player who holds the distinction of being in 5 different countries' baseball halls of fame.
Wow.
He's in the Mexican, Cuban, Dominican, Venezuela, and in Cooperstown, and nobody knows who the heck he is. Yeah. How could we not know about a ball player of that magnitude? Or Hilton Smith from Giddings, Texas, whom Buck O'Neil said had the greatest curveball he's ever seen. The legendary Monty Irvin said you could know his curveball was coming, and the break on it was so sharp you still couldn't hit it through that big 12-6 breaker, would drop down 3/4 and throw what he would call a tight curveball. Today we call it a slider.
Yeah.
And so all these players are being introduced into the game, and it's just special to see them enjoying it and learning at the same time.
I don't need to tell you, right? But the new museum, really, probably best place for it might be through games like that for the kids. It's harder to get kids to actually go to a structure. It's hard for anybody anymore to do that. Although I would suggest to folks, if they are so inclined, it is a fabulous museum you guys have in Kansas City.
Museum, and we get our fair share of school-age kids who come through. But the connectivity now is even greater because they are now witnessing what they learned in the museum, and it's even coming to life through this video game. And I can tell you now, the young people who worked on this project over at PlayStation, they poured their hearts and souls into it. They wanted to make sure that the Negro Leagues were treated with the proper respect. And man, you can almost feel the wool of those uniforms in this video game. Satchel has his patented double pump wind up, the high leg kick. You know, it's been amazing. I couldn't be more, I'm just overjoyed. And again, as a museum, it's about creating relevancy. How do I make that connection? Because the Negro Leagues, fellas, hadn't been played in over 6 decades.
Wow.
Yeah, but the life lessons that stem from this story of triumph over adversity is as meaningful right now as ever before. And so we found a perfect vehicle to reach that generation. Every day someone is reaching out to me through social media saying, my son is going to his baseball practices and he's telling everybody about these stories that you're telling in the video game.
So you mentioned the engagement that you had at the Academy today. And while certainly it's good to see, and the material is interesting, but it's the guy that's bringing it to the table, quite honestly. When you have a gift and it's obvious. And anybody who's ever talked to you, listened to you, watched your podcast, Black Diamonds on SiriusXM, of course, a little plug for the pod, a SiriusXM family. But you have a gift, Bob. I mean, we're all enamored by you. We love when we get the opportunity to talk to you. For you, when did you realize that maybe you had this gift?
You know, I don't know. It just seemed to kind of develop over time. And I tell people all the time, the smartest thing that I ever did was I kept my mouth closed and listened to people like Buck O'Neil, the late, great Minnie Minoso, Monty Irvin, Dallas's own Ernie Banks. Those people who were part of this story, who shared stories with me. And the beautiful thing about Buck O'Neil, I don't care, fellas, how many times he may have told a story. If he was going to tell it to you, he was going to tell it to you like it was the first time he ever told the story. And I watched that, and I think I learned from that. And I was sharing earlier today, for someone who is now fashioned as a storyteller, the greatest compliment that you can ever get from someone is saying, I felt like I was there. You know, and in you guys' world, that's what you're doing. You're painting a picture, particularly on the radio side. You're painting a picture so that people can visualize what is going on. And I think that's what we try to do. I think when I tell these stories, I want them to kind of feel what it was like if it was that epic showdown between Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige in the 1942 Negro League World Series, and the drama that was building up as Satchel walked the bases loaded to intentionally face Josh Gibson and then struck him out on 3 pitches after telling him what he was going to throw him. You wanted to make them feel like, okay, I'm at Forbes Field and I can see this. And now to make sure that Josh gets his just due, the very next year, Buck says, Josh tried to get a fastball pass. Satchel tried to get a fastball past Josh Gibson. They were playing in Yankee Stadium. Say he hit the ball so hard that Satchel, when he went through his follow-through, never got a chance to come up. So the ball went right over the top of his cap on a line and landed in Monument Gardens in Yankee Stadium on a rope. And as Gibson is circling the bases, Satchel's still down here. He never comes up. And he looks over at first base. He said, Nancy, a fella could get killed out here.
So it was always one of the great thrills of coming to Kansas City. It's been, 25 years or so since I had the pleasure of bumping into Buck O'Neil there and having him tell these stories, going to batting practice. And, you know, I mean, he was a genius. Now we have, fortunately, we still have you to go catch those same kind of stories when we're in town. But, you know, a week ago, it was Jackie Robinson Day, and we're celebrating Jackie's impact on the game. I asked, we happen to be playing Houston, and I asked Dusty Baker, because it's a big deal for Dusty. So Rangers will add another run here in the 3rd inning. I said, you know, with all the improvements and all of the visibility and education that we pour into this, it's been great. There are a lot of upsides to it. But the reality is we're seeing fewer and fewer Black Americans playing baseball at the major league level.
Yes.
And I asked Dusty, I said, why is that and what can we do? And Dusty, he answered very honestly. He said, I'm tired of answering that question. And I get it. Yeah. But what are we going to do?
Well, we got to continue to work at it. We have to continue to work at it. And I perhaps am that consummate glass half full kind of optimist. And I do think that we're going to see this alarming trend shift. We're starting to see more African-American players playing this game. They're starting to be seen. I don't think that it was an aberration last year that 4 of the top 5 players taken in the Major League Baseball draft were African-American kids. I think that is a sign that this work of having this Urban Youth Baseball Academy, what they have there in Vero Beach, where Major League Baseball has gone in and restored Dodger Town, and all the work that these guys who are dedicating themselves to trying to bridge that gap, the economic gap that has really priced out a lot of kids from our game. Our game, sadly, is now a pay-to-play kind of game, and that has hurt. And so we all think we understand that there is a problem, and we're working diligently. And I love the fact that the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum is being seen as part of this solution. Our sport, I think more so than any other sport, you really do have to see yourself in that role to really understand that it is possible to do it. And so when they walk through the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, urban kids, they see people who look just like them, who played this game as well as anyone ever played this game. But not only did they play the game, they owned teams, they were managers, they were coaches, they were traveling secretaries, they were team physicians. They fulfilled every role that could be filled within the business of the game of baseball. And that is really important as we try to get them introduced to this game, hoping that they fall in love with it, will be nurtured in this game, because no sport mimics life like baseball.
It's a good point. And I would say this too, we're already seeing that trend. You mentioned what you're seeing at the academy, but thinking about a guy like Jordan Walker right now in St. Louis. Michael Harris, we saw last year in Atlanta. I will tell you, living in Atlanta and having boys that play baseball there, it's very diverse. And you're seeing a lot of young African-American kids really start to emerge in a big way. But we still got a long way to go. We saw Andrew Jones' son go very high. You mentioned the draft as far as what we have seen. So I feel like the trend is starting to get there.
And it's going to
I feel like it's going to continue.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. The pendulum is going to shift the other way. You know, but it takes time. It takes time. And the one thing that we are not as a society is patient. Now, we're a microwave society. We want everything instantly.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. And maybe that's, hey, to that end, maybe Major League Baseball and doing some of the things they're doing this year with the rule adjustments and the pitch clock, keeping the game kind of moving, maybe that will have a positive impact as well.
Oh, yeah, no, and I'm telling you guys, and I really believe this doggone video game is going to draw some more kids to our sport. And what I love is that it's going to have this universal appeal where you can rest assured there's a future major leaguer playing MLB The Show, the Negro Leagues mode, who is going to come up and they're going to name their pitches like Satchel Paige named his pitches. And they're going to see this style of play that was so signature Negro Leagues baseball: fast, aggressive, daring. We need that back in our game. We need that kind of style back in our game, you know, and new rule changes is certainly helping.
I agree. I'll tell you this, too, not to open up this whole can of worms, but I do believe the NCAA has an obligation as well. It's one of the bigger problems. I'll tell you, going through this with an older one and a younger one and watching good athletes come through, white or black, doesn't matter, the draw to football, because of how many scholarships they have compared to how many we have in baseball, is a problem.
Exactly.
And it turns a lot of good athletes away, again, regardless of race, from baseball to football.
Yes, it does. And if we don't find a way to monetize and create scholarship opportunities in a full ride capacity for our sport, it is always going to be challenging, particularly for that urban child who you already know that if they play football, they got a chance to get a full ride scholarship. Even basketball, you got a chance to get a full ride scholarship. The best collegiate baseball programs might have 10, 12. And then they'll usually divide those
split them up.
And
the NCAA is allowing them to split them up even more now. The number has increased. The same amount of scholarships, but you can thin them out anymore. We had a kid last year playing with us, tremendous athlete, shortstop, gave it up for football full-time. He's a good football player. It's sad when you see it because you love your sport. We want the best, and I get it. I do feel like the NCAA has somewhat of an obligation to help us out here.
Yeah, no, we're going to have to figure that piece out, and I really do believe that if we really are serious about having these kids stay in the game, because once they get to that point where they've got to make a decision which direction they're going, one way or the other, they're choosing the other sport. We don't want to lose that great athlete to these other sports.
Yeah. Hey, was this your first visit to the Rangers Urban Youth Academy?
It was.
Okay. What do you think?
It's an impressive facility.
Yeah.
You know, we're fortunate we have the Kansas City Urban Youth Baseball Academy right behind the museum. So the museum is essentially connected to it.
Another deep blast and another home run by Garcia, a two-run shot. Rangers pouring it on here in the third inning.
Well, I'm going to take credit for it. I'm going to take, anytime that there's success, I'm happy to take credit for it.
Keep talking.
Even when I had nothing to do with it, I'll still take credit for it.
You tell us those fun stories, right? That story there about Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson. I don't know if you saw it or not, but we see it enough in our game. We see guys bat flipping a little bit. Does it seem tame compared to the stories you've been told, or some guys starting to keep up a little bit?
Absolutely. No. It is mild compared to if you didn't want to see a guy flip the bat in the Negro League, you better get him out. But, you know, they understood the entertainment level of this game. They never lost sight that this game is entertainment. So when you went to a Negro Leagues game, you were going to be thoroughly entertained. Now, that didn't mean that you weren't going to see great fundamentally sound baseball, but you were going to be entertained. As the late, great Buck O'Neil would say, you couldn't go to the concession stand because you might miss something that you ain't never seen before. They brought that element, and that's why people filled up the ballpark to go see them, and they were filling up the ballpark in the same major league stadiums that the major leaguers wouldn't let them play. But they're filling up their ballparks, and folks were going to see it. They're in Yankee Stadium, and it's filled to capacity in Yankee Stadium. Chicago's Comiskey Park, which was home to the annual East-West All-Star Game, debuted the same year as Major League Baseball's All-Star Game, 1933. And yes, it did outdraw Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. Fellas, they put over 50,000 in Chicago's Comiskey Park to see the creme de la creme, the best of the best, you know, go after it. And so it was a different brand of baseball than compared to Major League Baseball. As we celebrate Jackie Robinson tonight, Jackie took over with him that Negro League style of play. It was bold and aggressive. He's stealing bases. He was driving pitchers crazy. I think he stole home 19 times, you know, in what was still by Major League standards a short career, because he's 28 by the time he gets to the Major Leagues. And so that was the style that they played. It was commonplace in the Negro Leagues. And even though Jackie was only in the Negro Leagues for 5 months, he was a dynamic athlete who quickly picked up the nuances of what Negro Leagues baseball was all about.
I know we're going to run out of time here. I want to make sure I ask you this every time we talk. Filmography, best films, recommendations for, in your opinion, for fans to watch to learn some of the history of the Negro Leagues.
My favorite documentary is one called There Was Always Sun Shining Someplace. It is outstanding because you have a lot of legendary Negro Leaguers who had passed before Ken Burns' epic documentary on the history of baseball, which made Buck O'Neil an overnight sensation. And my favorite book, and this is one of the great titles of all time, Only the Ball Was White, by Robert Peterson. It is outstanding reading as well.
Well, that is a perfect way to wrap it up. Bob, it is always a treat to see you.
Man,
keep talking.
Good to see you guys.
Keep talking. Keep telling the stories. Man.
No, man,
Love
I will. I enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for having me.
He tells me the opposite. He tells me to stop talking.
You zip it. Boy, Rangers having some fun here tonight. 11-2 the score as we go to the 4th inning. Andrew Heaney to work and misses off the plate to Carlos Perez, who had a sac fly in the first inning in his first plate appearance.
Love your confidence in your scorebook right now.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if I share that same confidence.
This one down into that left field corner and caught by Jankowski just as he crossed over into foul ground. One away. All right, and so then it'll bring Aledmys Diaz. So the A's, they got 2 runs in the first inning while Heaney was trying to get his footing. Then the Rangers came to bat on the bottom of the first, and they have not stopped scoring. 11 runs. 2 in the first, 5 in the second, 4 in the third.
And the Rangers have had, you know, see Adolis Garcia with 2 home runs here already tonight, and we're only in the top of the 4th inning.
Ground ball second base, and Aledmys Diaz retired easily. 2 gone.
But the big inning has been a big part of this season for the Rangers. They now have 6 times scored 5 or more runs in an inning. That's the most in Major League Baseball. It's kind of one of those old adages. You try to stay away from the big inning, the runaway train. Things start to happen. How can you slow it down? Well, teams have not been able to slow it down against the Rangers as they continue to hit. The depth of the lineup showing up in those big innings.
Shea Langeliers now, and he takes a strike. It's hard to get your brain around how the lineup can do what it's done today, do what it did in those last 2 games in Kansas City where they scored 12 runs in each of those, and then yesterday they just had trouble outside of the first inning. They just couldn't do anything outside of that first inning.
That's baseball, Susan.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Well, you can't predict it. That is for certain. Two 1 pitch, and that will even the count at 2-2. Langeliers walked in the second inning, and he'll use his timeout here. And Heaney delivers, and a swing and a miss. Another strikeout, his 4th of the night. A 10-pitch 4th inning.
That's a great job. We call it the shutdown inning, and Andrew Heaney has done it twice now for the Rangers after a couple of big innings, and the swing and miss is back coming out of the big left-handed arm of Andrew Heaney.
Ball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts and Frontier. Uncable yourself. Get fiber internet. Here we go in the bottom of the 4th inning. One to Jonah.
That's a big number right there through 20 games so far for the Rangers. 127 runs, 3rd most in team history.
He tried to check up, but he went around, so it's 0-2.
And I guess they have. I wonder how far we're going to go look at that list because we still got some innings left here.
Yeah.
This is game number 20.
Ooh. 1-2 on Heim, who has walked and doubled in a couple of runs today. Adrian Martinez came on a relief last inning, get the final 2 outs of the inning, but not before he allowed a bunch of runs to score, and he almost hit Jonah there. No, he did get him. Grazed his knee, and so Heim is on for a 3rd time tonight.
Let's see where this got Jonah Heim.
Just above that right knee.
And he felt it.
So now Brad Miller, he's the only Ranger yet to reach base. And Brad takes just a hair low. Ball 1. That was a pretty good looking pitch. Brad has walked more than he has struck out. And he's done a really good job of just finding his way on in recent games. Of course, that might have been a makeup call right there. 1-1. Ball 2. So another close pitch. Anyway, we talked about it earlier how Miller, whether it's by hit or by walk, in 8 of the last 18 plate appearances he'd reached prior to tonight, and he lifts this one in the air left side, hanging up there for Diaz near the railing, and he makes the catch. 1 away in the 4th. Here comes Josh Smith. Well, we've got a ways to go yet tonight. We're only in the bottom of the 4th inning. But this is a better offensive performance for the City Connect uniforms. And I'm not going to say that I was worried about it, but I thought it might be kind of important to go ahead and win one this weekend in these units so the guys don't build up any arguments against them.
I would agree. Doesn't take much. So it's something's right, whether it's roof open, roof closed, what uniform are you wearing?
And this one lifted to left field. Rooker in a couple of steps, 2 away. Let's check in with Emily.
Well, as you guys know, it was a weird night on the bases last night, something we really haven't seen. And Leody Taveras got, caught stealing even after those 2 disengagements had taken place. And so we asked Boch about it today. He said, of course, he should have gotten a bigger lead. He said, but the thing about it is you're taking these guys out of their comfort zone. They don't want to get picked off. And even though they know they don't have that option left, it's still kind of like being naked out there.
Well, fly ball to center field ends the inning. We ended with naked out there. Rangers fail to score for the first time tonight as we go to the 5th.
Third baseman Josh Jung has had a very nice night here on both sides of the ball. We've seen it with the glove. We have seen it with the bat. He has really gotten off to a nice start this season. This play in particular was a really good one. Strong throw running across his body, and then this RBI base hit as well to left field. Good night here. 2 RBIs on that base hit for Josh Jung. He has driven in 2. He's got a couple of base hits, and he's flashing leather and rolling. Not even halfway there yet, Dave.
I like it. This is a much more enjoyable game than the one we saw last night. Rangers fell short yesterday 5-4. Actually, it was a pretty good game. And for the most part, we haven't had real tight, close games start to finish this season. This is the 20th game of the year for the Rangers. 12 wins, 7 losses so far. And I don't know what the average scoring disparity is on a nightly basis, but it seems like it's pretty large in the games.
Sure, just takes the run differential and divide it by 19, I guess, right? Would that get you there?
Not quite.
Or you want only on the wins, you mean?
Yeah, because, well, either way, right? Because sometimes they've had some big losses, too. This one smashed down the third baseline. That's a base hit for Kevin Smith. In fact, it'll be a double. So the A's have a man on.
It sounded like he broke his bat on this one here. Get a look at the slider grip. Pretty well located. Maybe not. Right down the line. You always got to deal with that corner. Can be a little bit tricky as Travis Jankowski plays it about as good as you can. Just an easy double.
It's the first hit for Oakland since the second batter of the game. And now Heaney comes in on Capel, who fouls off strike 1.
Interesting there when you see night games and day games for Connor Capel. Must be a young man. That flips as you get older. And you're getting up early with kids and all that kind of stuff. Then you get cranky at the night games when they take too long.
That's inside. 1-1. Capel, I'll tell you what, he gets a lot done in his few seconds between pitches.
Wonder what that looked like pre-pitch clock.
Oh, I bet it was fun.
So old Nomar Garciaparra style there for those who remember. Former Red Sox shortstop was notorious for the gloves, taking them off like that right there. The Velcro every time. That is a tick.
We gotta work on that. 1-2 from Heaney. And it's fouled straight down.
You need to pay closer attention when he hits and nobody's on base. So far in his 2 plate appearances, there's been a runner on. He's getting 5 extra seconds. You have to be engaged with the pitcher with 8 seconds to go, and so the clock starts late there because of the foul ball. So he's got plenty of time to do all his little things over there.
Well, he's close, right? I mean, he's right on the number there, because you have to, at 9 seconds, you've got to be visually engaged with the pitcher. And he was 10 seconds there. He still hadn't turned his head to look out at Heaney. I mean, it is close. This is a great angle because you can see the clock.
That's 4. That's 2 on each hand right there. As far as the Velcro goes.
Yeah.
And he alternates too. It takes a while. That's something.
1-2. That's just a bit high.
Helmet off, wipe with each arm.
But it doesn't look like he's paying attention to the clock either. And yet he's right on that number. You know what I mean?
3, 4. Yeah, wow.
Well, now he is. He must have glanced up that time. That's close. (2-2). And it's in the air left field. Jankowski to his left is going to peel off for Taveras to make the play. And there's the first out of the inning. And we can get a message now from Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Fun, games, relaxation, or excitement. We've got all your bases covered at Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Top of the order. Ruiz steps in, 1 for 2. He goes right after the first pitch. This one popped up down the first base side. Lowe may have room. Appears he does. And he makes the play. Tagging at second, Smith. He heads to third, and he is just ahead of the throw. So it's a foul out, but a daring bit of base running there by Kevin Smith to move up 90 feet.
He made that decision once he saw Nathaniel Lowe was going to be catching that ball and going backwards, and felt like he had a chance. But that was a really nice job by Lowe. Good awareness to make a strong throw and at least take a shot at it. It was on the money and it was quick released.
I guess it's all good if you make it. If he doesn't make that, that's probably roundly criticized as Jordan Diaz now fouls off strike one.
I had a guy tag up and score one time on a foul out that was not nearly that deep. First baseman fell down.
Ooh.
It was like near the coach's box. The guy tagged. I got a blown save for it too. It was great. Apparently I haven't let it go either.
Yeah, the counseling's working out well. Well, you remember last year, Jose Altuve at third base.
Yep.
Pop up to first, and he very nearly got Lowe sleeping on that. Lowe threw him out. 1-1. And that one in the dirt. So Heaney now at 80 pitches for the night. Again, there were some moments early on, but he seems to have righted the ship. Lefty's 2-1.
No, we only guess. We love to guess, right? We read the body language for mound visits and we watch pitchers and try to get a feel for what might be going on in their head. I will tell you that when Mike Maddox went out to talk to Andrew Heaney that first time, I was concerned because he looked lost a little bit. It looked like he almost like he didn't have an answer for what was going on, and he was really frustrated. And then you come off of what happened with John Gray and him explaining how he just had a really difficult time making adjustments. It's going to happen. But he's done a nice job here, especially if he can finish off this fifth inning and bouncing back after what was a very uncomfortable first for him.
Well, he walked 2 of the first 7 batters he faced tonight. That was uncharacteristic. And did not have a strikeout in those early moments. He has since racked up 4. This 3-2 pitch down the right side and slicing away foul. Off the hands of that gentleman.
Could have been worse.
Yeah. Keep it moving. Might consider a cold drink just to hold it with that hand.
Rub some dirt on it.
All right, another payoff pitch. And this one in the air out to right field. Albombi is there, and the inning is done. So the A's get a man to third, but they leave him there. We're halfway to the house tonight. And this one, all Rangers.
Up to the plate for Texas, and in talking to Bruce Bochy about Marcus, he said, and I quote, Marcus is a manager's dream. He said not even what he does on the field, he's just such a calming influence. His work ethic is off the chart. He is everything you want in a player. He is absolutely a manager's dream. And one other note, you guys, that interview with Bob Kendrick was tremendous. Tremendous.
He's great.
Not because of you guys, mainly because of him.
We know where you were going.
Thank you, Emily. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Even Bob Kendrick can make it look like we know what we're doing.
I feel like what I heard there was excellent work, you two.
But we heard that about Marcus coming in. And I mentioned Dallas Braden earlier, of course, great A's pitcher and broadcaster with them now. And when the Rangers signed up Marcus, I reached out to him. Tell me about him. He's like, oh my goodness, you are going to love this guy. He's just a perfect clubhouse guy. He's a great player. The work ethic is off the charts. Everyone will fall behind. Doesn't have to be a vocal leader, although he can be if he has to be. And I would say, yeah, I felt a little bad for him last year. We had the shortened spring training. You're the guy, all the attention, big contract. Got off to a slow start, and he was very honest about feeling that pressure a little bit. And then once he broke it open, he's been fantastic ever since.
Full count on him right here. He has been on 3 times tonight, 2 hits and a walk. He has scored 2 runs. He's driven in 2 runs. And other than that, I don't know what he's done. 3-2 pitch. And he strikes out swinging. 1 gone in the 5th inning. All that praise, and they finally figure out a way to retire Marcus. It'll bring up Travis Jankowski. Well, once again, Jankowski right in the middle of things. He scored a couple of runs so far tonight. Has a base hit. Mentioned it last night. It's to the point now where every time I see him in a game or in a lineup, I make mental note, because the Rangers are 11-2 when he plays. I mean, get him in there. Tapper back by the mound. And the shortstop Smith gathers it up, throws out Jankowski. 2 up, 2 down. And here comes Lowe. Nathaniel drove a run in his last at bat. 1 for 3 now tonight.
So was that enough to keep the mustache off?
Yeah. I mean, I think this will be the look until he needs another change. He'll take inside, ball 1. We'll see. Try and get a little more information on that tomorrow. I have to admit something. I'd feel bad about this. First thing I did today when I went to the clubhouse, I went over to his locker and shooting the breeze about a number of items. It didn't even register with me that he had shaved it off.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to say you're not that observant?
That's exactly what I said.
I don't believe it.
It's a good observation on your part. 2-1 the count here to Nathaniel.
I did try to bring it up with him on a little pregame conversation. He was having no part of it. I started to call him clean-shaven Nathaniel Lowe, and he put the kibosh on it real fast.
Ooh.
In a very friendly way, very nice. Nate is always nice, but he was. There's just, we don't talk about it. We're not talking about it. Okay.
Nice. So he didn't tell you to pipe down. That's nice.
It was the nonverbal equivalent of pipe down. I think he shushed me, actually.
Oh, a shush.
Yeah.
Well, he takes a walk here. That's old school shushing. So Lowe is on, and stop down viewing right now. Here is Adolis Garcia.
How about the distance of those 2 home runs? 852 feet. And a nice round of applause for the Ranger right fielder. And it's only the 5th inning. The Ranger fans want to see it again, because we're greedy.
He lifts this one right side foul. A 2-run blast in the 1st inning. It was a monster. Then hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning and did not like it even a little bit. Then came up in the 3rd, his first look at Martinez, and smashed one to center. And he hits this ball well.
Jeez.
Deep out to left field. Doesn't have enough. Gone! 3rd of the night. Garcia has 6 RBIs. and has scored a career-best 4 runs tonight. It's 13-2. I suppose they'll try and hit him again, do you?
Big smile there from his manager, Bruce Bochy, Jonah Heim as well. It's okay to be greedy and think big. And for Adolis Garcia, big night here tonight. And again, only the bottom of the 5th inning. He'll get at least one more at bat.
Wow. Now Young, and that's a strike 1-1. The count to Josh. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 4 runs scored. And that is strike 2 on Young. He's not done yet. It's early. There is strike 3 on Young, and the inning is over.
Adolis Garcia does it again. All smiles here tonight at Globe Life Field. How about that hanging slider? When will they learn? Not to Adolis. 401 feet. He is over 1,200 feet of homers tonight.
Adolis Garcia doing some things we haven't seen in quite a little while. First career 3 home run game, first one ever in this ballpark by anyone. He is having a ball game. 6th inning. Rangers up 11 runs. And Heaney gets ahead of Jesus Aguilar 0-2. Room for Heaney just to attack guys at this stage of the game. One is up 1-2. Oh, this offense gets going though. Oh, goodness. Again, you know, this recent run that the Rangers are on, they have played some spectacular baseball, and offensively they've done some real damage. It's all been without the services of Mitch Garver and Corey Seager, 2 really key components of this offense. So this one lined out there into right field by Aguilar, lead man on in the 6th inning for Oakland.
Yeah, that's certainly one of the encouraging signs, I think, of this offense, is that it runs so deep that while you have a couple of your bigger bats down, there are others that have been able to fill in, and Travis Jankowski certainly is one of those guys we've seen over at shortstop with Josh Smith and Ezekiel Duran getting their opportunities. And they've done a nice job, but it's the big bats in the lineup that have really come up huge, and that's why depth of lineup is so important.
This ball hit hard out into left field. That one will bang off the base of the fence. Rooker with a long, very loud single. Aguilar had to stop at second. Good job by Jankowski to hustle that one back in. Played that really well.
Yep, perfectly. Got a nice bounce off the wall and kept that to a single. Andrew Heaney up to 90 pitches now. No meeting at the mound with Jonah Heim and Josh Young. No action yet, I don't think, in the Ranger bullpen. The catcher is positioned. Here we go. It's like Ian Kennedy putting on his pitch comp.
All right, so he'll loosen up.
The Peagle sweatshirt with the dark pants. It looks like a gym coach. A little bit, right? Having the no contrast. I love the sweatshirt.
Yeah, they got to work on how they deploy all the elements.
So Brett Hayes down there, more of the contrast with the different cream color sweatshirt. Kind of matches the uniform situation.
Perez fouls that one off the count quickly. 0-2. 2 men on, nobody out here in the 6th inning. Heaney would love to get through this 6th. And this one on the ground could be 2. Smith from his belly flips to second. 1 on to first. Double play! Beautifully done by Josh Smith.
We're so focused on the lineup and the pieces that are missing. What about the defense? We know Josh Smith brings a great glove to the table, and he gets this opportunity with some consistency to play short with Corey Seager down, ranges to his left. That pitch right there is not nearly as easy as he made that look. As you see the ball starting to pop out of the glove, he's got to get control and very quickly pitch it over to Marcus Semien, and it was right on point so that Marcus could turn that double play. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's fun right there. And that's the part of the game that we missed with all the shifts. Just middle infielders making great athletic plays like that. That was fantastic. 1 strike pitch inside. 1-1. The other thing it did is it gives Heaney a real shot at completing 6 innings tonight, which I think was maybe in question there after the first 2 men got on. 1-1, and this is in the air, foul, strike 2. Not a lot of strikeouts tonight, just 4 for Heaney. But after the bumpy initial moments when Oakland scored a couple of runs, he has settled in nicely. Here's his 1-2, and that is in the air, right field. Plenty of room for Garcia. The inning is over, and so Heaney does get through 6 innings tonight. A little defensive help from Josh Smith allows him to do so. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Rangers leading by 11.
Garcia, first at bat, hit an absolute bomb off of the ace starter Fujinama, a big one into the second deck, and then his next at bat he hit him, and Fujinama was apologetic. You could see him tapping on the chest. I'm sorry. His face said, "Please don't hurt me." And what Garcia decided to do was hurt the next pitch that he saw in his next at bat. This one to center field, another 2-run home run, and then again a third time in the 5th inning for Adolis Garcia. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. He has scored 5 times and has been right in the middle of this huge outburst by this Rangers offense.
A lot of career numbers right there for Adolis Garcia. 1,200 feet worth of home runs. Fujinami, he had been really good in the initial innings of games this year. That turned the other way today. Now Jonah Heim with a pretty big cut here. That ball carrying well out to right field and dies right in front of the Rangers bullpen. Ruiz able to make the play for out number 1. Tyler Wade is coming to the game. He'll play third base now for Oakland. Ledmus Diaz, after flying out to end the inning, he's done for the day. Now the first pitch to Brad Miller runs in tight. So bottom of the 6th inning. And Miller takes a strike, 1-1. Fujinami, the right-hander, with a start today for Oakland. That gets Miller in the lineup. He really has not hit against lefties, but maybe one at bat so far this year. So the second they come with a lefty, he's probably out. 2-2 pitch, and this one bounced first base, and Aguilar will take it himself. Let's hear from Rally House.
Play ball, Texas. Shop the latest in Rangers style with your favorite brands and throwback designs. Rally House has gear for every fan.
2-away, here's Josh Smith. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And he'll take up and out. Yesterday, J.P. Sears did some incredible work for Oakland when he recovered after a rough start, but went deep into the game. And now tonight, this guy, Adrian Martinez, has really chewed up a lot of thankless innings in the middle of this ball game.
It's been his role. It's kind of interesting to look at his game logs. 5 times pitched before he got into tonight's game. Anywhere from 2 to 3 2/3 innings in every outing.
This one bounced along the third baseline and out into left field. Smith got a good start out of the box, but it'll hold with a 2-out single.
Well, on the 65th pitch of the night, a changeup that stayed up. It stayed on the corner. It was away, but not down far enough, and really didn't run after Martinez tried to turn it over. Didn't get the movement that he wanted. And Josh Smith does a very nice job of going with that pitch and hitting it down the left field line. By the way, 65 pitches now ties the season high for Martinez. Shockingly, he's done it before out of the bullpen. It's a big number.
Oh, Taveras. Rangers putting up some big numbers. Good crowd tonight, over 32,000 here. So it's fun to treat a nice crowd like tonight with a great performance. Rangers have gotten good pitching from Andrew Heaney, and then they have just absolutely lit it up offensively. In fact, this is an Oakland team that have struggled in terms of pitching. The most runs they've allowed this year, 13. Now it's 2-1.
And if they've enjoyed this one, they may enjoy it tomorrow. Jacob deGrom is going to be on the mound, assuming the Rangers hold on to this one with a chance to win the series.
Strike call, 2-2. How about this one for you, CJ? This is Oakland's 21st game of the year. This is the 9th time this year that they've allowed double-digit runs.
I'm sorry, say that again. The 9th time?
9th time. Ground ball, third base. They'll go the short way to second to get Smith. 9 times it's happened. 7th inning coming up here tonight. Rangers with a 13-2 lead. Tonight, trying to even this series, and as we look ahead, then you can save 50% on select tickets for Tuesday games using offer code COKE50. Plus, meet Rangers coaches and players in an autograph session. You can get those tickets now by going to Rangers.com. A number of changes here for the Rangers as we get ready for the 7th inning. Sandy Leon will give Jonah Heim a breather the rest of the way tonight. Ezekiel Duran will get Marcus Semien off his feet, and then a little change in the outfield. We'll get, there you go, Bubba in left field. Jankowski moves into center. So Taveras is out. Meanwhile, Ian Kennedy takes over on the mound. And his first pitch, a strike to Shea Langeliers.
Game number 7 for Ian Kennedy here with the Rangers. No home runs allowed in his 4 2/3 innings so far.
0-2 on Langeliers. Bottom third of the order for Oakland. They've been held to 2 runs on just 5 hits tonight. Just got a piece of him. I was going to say it was a little inside, but that actually nicked just a piece of the equipment, and so Langeliers is on. Which has to be a little aggravating if you're Ian Kennedy.
No doubt. Now, the one thing Ian Kennedy has done really well this year, the ground ball rate is up at 62%. Now, the ERA is really high, and you can see it there. Again, it's only been 4 2/3 innings, so probably not fair to look at any ERA. He had that one really bad outing that got away from him. We went a third of an inning and gave up 4 earned runs. When you come out of the bullpen, it takes a few weeks to get back to normal, to recover from an outing like that.
Jumps ahead of Smith 0-1. And that'll square the count. Rangers had won 4 in a row coming into this series. Dropped a tough one yesterday. And strike 2. And there wasn't a whole lot of good that came out of yesterday's game. There were a number of things that just did not go their way. And today Bruce Bochy said, yeah, sometimes you have that kind of a day. Things just don't go well. And you move on. He even assured us that it will probably happen again this year. The Rangers, over the span of 162 games, they might just have a game or two where things just don't go right. 2-2. There's a swing and a miss. A strikeout of Smith, one away in the 7th. Here comes Connor Capel.
And again with the runner on, so we don't get to see him on the 15-second clock. Did he call timeout already?
I think he did.
No, the clock's still running.
You better hurry.
That's something.
It's amazing. He gets it. He gets that head turn to the pitcher 1 second before the drop dead moment, and he goes after the first pitch, lines it into right field, base hit. So Langeliers goes to second. The A's have a couple of base runners. Back up top now for Ruiz, who is 1 for 3. CJ mentioned it, but tomorrow, excited to see Jacob deGrom go back to the mound against this Oakland team to wrap up the series, wrap up the homestand. The team will head off to Cincinnati for a very short trip, 3 with the Reds and then back home again. Been a very interesting month of April that way in terms of the schedule. This one high in the air, right center field. And Jankowski gets to it for the second out of the inning. Tagging it second, Langeliers. He moves up. All right, look at our Sage pitching decisions. Mentioned deGrom making the start tomorrow for the Rangers. And that's always, of course, newsworthy for fans. Anybody interested in the Rangers, you want to see the best pitcher in the game going. Well, how about his last 3 starts, a 1.59 ERA, 25 strikeouts to 3 walks. Pretty good ratio. And now the first pitch put into play by Jordan Diaz down the right side. And that one reaches foul territory, or rather the top of that netting. Strike 1.
So the crazy thing about the Jacob deGrom strikeout to walk ratio that you were talking about right there, and over those last 3, 25 to 3. His career best, he was at 13.3 strikeouts per walk. It's a ridiculous number. How ridiculous is it? He's so good. His career number is 5.4 strikeouts per walks. Think about that ratio, but then what it's been the last couple years, over 10 each year. Better than doubled his career best, which is an all-time high in our game.
It's crazy. Diaz flies out to right. A's leave a couple. Time to stand and stretch. We'll turn it over to Chuck Morgan.
Your attention, please, ladies.
big like the Rangers are tonight, you just feel like dancing. But somebody's got to learn to lead. Who's leading? Bees and Martin Perez having a little fun in the dugout. Everything's fun right now for this team. James Kaprielian is checked in here for Oakland. 7th inning, Rangers leading 13-2. In the first offering, this one whacked into left field. That's a base hit. Well, Ezekiel Duran getting in as a late inning defensive substitute. Sees one pitch and turns it into a hit.
And jumps on it right away. Two-seam fastball from Kaprielian. Did not have very much run on it at all. Right in the middle of the plate for Ezekiel. He does not let that one go by. You know how much I love to pay attention to detail, so I'm a little extra irritated right now because yesterday they had James Kaprielian listed as a reliever. Today on the score sheet, he was not there. And so I took him off of my score sheet.
Oh boy.
Which means I can't cross his name off going in out of the bullpen into the game.
Okay.
It really bothers me. Attention to details. That's it. Listen, the A's are struggling right now. It's little things like that. Look at that score sheet right.
Well, this one in the air out to left field for the first out of the inning. Well, listen, I'm sorry to hear that. Will you still tweet out your scorecard?
No, I can't. It's imperfect.
Because it's, yeah. It's embarrassing. I feel for it. There's Nathaniel Lowe.
It's not like anybody would point out my mistake or
I can't imagine that. I'll get Emily on it. Lowe takes one inside. He has a base hit, a walk. He scored a couple of times tonight. 13 runs, 13 hits for the Rangers tonight. There's a strike. 2 runs, 6 hits for Oakland. And as we mentioned earlier, 9th time this year already that this Oakland staff has allowed double-digit runs. Nearly half the games they've played, they've allowed 10 or more runs. That is a staggering number. And they came into play today. A big win yesterday for Marcotte and his club. A 5-4 win. It was just their 4th of the year. But they have a run differential of a -85 coming in. Yeah, now updated.
Man.
They've nearly been outscored by 100 runs. And this is the 21st game of the season for them.
So their pace is like nearly 800.
Yeah. That's not.
That'd probably be a record.
I mean, I told you that the only team that had been worse through 19 games were the Cleveland Spiders of 1899, and that's part of the reason why. A vacated first base allows Lowe to leg out an infield hit. There's just nobody home.
That was a tremendous effort by James Kaprielian at the end. But no doubt some frustration here. And listen, there's losing and there's losing ugly when things can fall apart. And to potentially add on here, we have Adolis Garcia now coming up.
The fans hoping to see something truly unusual, truly historic here. Garcia's already given them a memorable performance. 3 two-run homers tonight.
And James Kaprielian has given up 5 home runs this year in 14 1/3 innings. So he's certainly a good candidate for it.
Well, his first try, and Adolis takes outside ball 1. It's the first 3-homer game by anyone in this ballpark. That one in there. 1-1. Adolis has seen plenty of Kaprielian over the years. 6 for 25 against him with 2 homers. Been over a decade since the Rangers had a 4-homer game. This one lined over second. That's a base hit, and it's going to roll all the way to the wall. Duran is in. Lowe will score 8 RBIs tonight for Albombi.
Let's show you how we get here first with this infield hit from Nathaniel Lowe, and nobody covering first base, and that gave an opportunity for Adolis Garcia to come up with 2 runners on, and instead of getting big and just trying to hit a ball in the air and out of the ballpark, he takes what is given to him, a pitch down and away, and drives it to the wall in right center, and 2 runs come around, and there is Nathaniel Lowe after that infield base hit. It's pretty impressive from Albombi, not just the total night, but the fact that he wasn't trying to sell out to hit a 4th home run. And staying with what he has been doing and what has been working for him.
1 strike pitch, and that is outside. So 14 total bases, 8 RBIs. He has scored 4 times tonight. 2nd time in the great Bombino's career that he has notched a 4-hit game. And it is 2-1 now to Josh Young. 15-2 Rangers on top. Caprillion gets a corner call that'll even things at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So we're talking run differential and the pace that these A's are on, and certainly things will get better. And jokingly saying, well, our pace for about an negative 800 run differential. Last year, the Washington Nationals had the worst run differential in baseball. Negative 252 was the worst in baseball.
Whoa. That was a strikeout by Young, 2 away. All right, let's check in with Emily.
Well, Adolis Garcia having quite the night, and I talked to him before today's game, asked how he was feeling about, this kind of newfound approach that he's had, trying to stay more patient, not get too far out of the strike zone, really control it, and changing that reputation, especially the one that he has with umpires. And he said he felt like it was coming. He said, look, I still get frustrated at times, but I feel like slowly but surely I'm starting to change the way not only umpires view me, but also the way pitchers view me as well. They know I'm not going to chase.
It's been a big part of his game, no doubt about it, and it's paying off in a big way. It's kind of surprising because we sit here and watch him. I don't ever feel like Adolis Garcia is bad with umpires. Now, you never know what's being said or maybe reactions otherwise, but for the most part, I feel like his body language is always pretty good. He doesn't really overreact. Even when he got hit by that pitch earlier, maybe the biggest reaction we have seen from him since he's been a Ranger. Just kind of takes things as they come for the most part.
And not necessarily like his attitude toward umpires, but more so that he has the reputation of swinging at stuff that outside the zone, and so it makes them call things a little differently. I don't think there's any dispute over the way that he's viewed by umpires as far as the way he behaves himself or conducts himself in the box.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, and it's a good point too, because I'll tell you this, I think umpires, they'll never admit this, but I think they fall into patterns sometimes based on the player. Right? You think about a guy that does a great job of not swinging a pitch, say a Joey Votto type, and he gets the benefit of the doubt a lot of times because it is known he has a good eye. Well, it can work both ways.
Leon sneaks one through the right side. That's a base hit. Here comes Garcia. Why not play to 5th run? He has scored 5 times tonight and driven in 8. And Sandy Leon gets in the act, makes it 16-2.
4-seam fastball here from James Caprillion, and another one located just up over the heart of the plate. Ground ball to the right side. Not a lot of room over there, but Leon finds himself that hole and picks himself up an RBI, and here comes Albombi once again.
All right, so 3 runs across in the inning. A visit to the mound. Caprillion has run into the same buzzsaw that every Oakland pitcher has here tonight. It's just one of those nights. Kind of the inverse of what happened yesterday for the Rangers, where a handful of things did not go their way. Today, just about every single thing is falling in line for them.
How about that? 13 of the 16 runs with 2 outs tonight. That's something that's been pretty consistent for the Rangers this year. They've done a nice job scoring runs with 2 outs.
Well, they're still trying to find his way on base. He's the only one in the lineup who's yet to do so. And he's in a hole 0-2. We've talked so much about Oakland and their negative run differential. The Rangers with a very positive run differential of now a positive 56 runs, second in all of baseball. And Miller has just launched one out to right. Will this one have enough? Capel has just enough room to make the catch, and Brad misses on that opportunity to get in the act. But El Bombe, he has not missed a thing tonight. The great Bombino, he has found way after way tonight, this last time with a simple approach to shoot it the other way. 8 RBIs for the big fella. Team 2 lead ties a season high. 5 runs scored for Adolis Garcia. It ties a franchise record, last accomplished by Ian Kinsler in 2009. 8 RBIs for El Bombe. So what a night. What a night. Josh Sborz into this 8th inning. He'll deal with Aguilar, Rooker, and Perez. 3, 4, and 5 hitters. And Aguilar hits this one out to center field. That's pretty well struck, and it's gone. Aguilar's 2nd home run of the year. And that makes it 16-3.
How dare he? Getting booed by the fans here. Enjoyed this thing being one-sided. I wouldn't panic just yet with the Rangers up 13. Four-seam fastball. A great look at the four-seam fastball, as we've seen with so many of the hits tonight. Elevated over the middle of the plate. Big man, strong man. You let him get his arms extended, and he's got the ability to do that kind of damage.
So Aguilar, like a solo shot. Here's Rooker. And he'll take just outside. Ball 1. Had not scored since the 1st inning. Rangers reeled off 16 unanswered prior to that home run just a moment ago. And there's a swing and a miss. Brad Miller moves over to first base. So Lowe done for the night tonight.
I guess that means the Rangers lose their DH.
Yep. Yeah, so Josh Sborz will be batting in the 3rd spot in the lineup. Doubt he'll actually get to bat. This one tapped straight down, foul. 2-2. You know, I started to mention an inning ago that Oakland, after 19 games, had the largest negative run differential since 1899. The Cleveland Spiders. Just ground out to short. It's first out of the inning. A Cleveland Spiders team in 1899, a controversial team. They went 20-130 that year. They set all kinds of major league records. Most losses ever in a single season. Fewest wins, certainly. And that was a situation where the owner of the Cleveland Spiders had purchased another team prior to the season and just raided his old Spiders roster. He took guys like Cy Young, you might have heard of him, a number of Hall of Famers off that Cleveland team. And so they were just left to get absolutely pummeled. They played a majority of their games on the road. So in a lot of ways, there are some similarities to what Oakland's going through. A team that announced just prior to this series beginning last night that they had entered into an agreement fundamentally to move to Las Vegas in 2027. So it's a team not without a home, but a team very transient in nature. That makes a very tough job for Mark Kotsay. It's also a team that has traded off all their great players in the last couple of years. And they had great players. There's a strikeout. Perez, 2 away.
So were the Spiders, are they tanking for a high round draft pick, you think, that year, or is it strictly about just?
There was a lot of acrimony surrounding that team and that owner, and the way he felt like he was being treated, etc. But yeah, it was a bad situation. But you know, Oakland, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman.
Well, it's a matter of time anyway. It's just been something that's consistent for them over the years, going back to Josh Donaldson, go back before that even. And for the Oakland A's, at one point, we were kind of ahead of the curve with the whole Moneyball error. I still think to some degree it was one of their bigger mistakes. Everyone was going to catch up sooner or later. I wouldn't be authorizing a book or a movie about what we're doing and what our secret sauce is before they had won anything. They had gotten to the postseason. They've been very successful. They had 3 homegrown pitchers that were carrying that team, and Zito, Mulder, and Hudson. I just always thought that was a weird part of it to me. That was, again, everyone was going to catch up sooner or later. Yeah. I feel like they accelerated that process by making things as public as they did.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I thought that was interesting. 1-2 pitch, fouled off. I mean, I appreciated it as a baseball fan and enthusiast. I wanted to know. And I thought the book was great and very interesting.
You know who's not writing a book? The Tampa Bay Rays.
They're darn right.
Keep everything under lock and key, and they don't want to let anybody know what they're doing.
Foul ball.
Teams with not nearly the resources that other teams have, and trying to find ways to be competitive, and getting more and more difficult to do that, to find those market inefficiencies or to find things. And the Rays continue to do it, but find things in certain players that other teams don't see.
Yeah, it's increasingly difficult year by year to have really a sizable advantage in those types of things. Teams have all gotten increasingly intelligent about that. There's a breaking ball in there. Called strike 3 on Tyler Wade, and the inning is done. So Spores will get us to the bottom of the 8th inning tonight with the Rangers leading Oakland 16-3.
Who just pitched in the top of the 8th. Josh Sborz, superpower he'd like to have, the ability to fly. Celebrity lunch with Leonardo DiCaprio, and favorite food, a good old-fashioned steak, fellas.
Steak.
Yeah, that's pretty,
Good call.
pretty straightforward, a lot of that. Nothing
Right in the
fancy
middle.
there.
Yep. So if you're wondering what's going on right now watching this game, that is not a regular pitcher that has taken the mound for the Oakland A's. However, he is working at an incredible pace, is Jace Peterson. Doing a little batting practice here at 63 miles an hour.
Second position player to pitch this year for Oakland.
It showed up as a slider. I'm here to tell you that's not a slider. I'll lend you my expertise. It's the 5th pitching appearance for Jace Peterson in his career.
These are all showing up as sliders. Why is that? Is it the speed?
I guess the spin. But listen, there's times where it comes up unknown. Now, by the way, so we talked about this a lot last year, and that was because we saw position players pitching at a ridiculously high rate, the most we had ever seen in baseball. And that is no longer. You won't see it nearly as much, and that's because Major League Baseball has instituted some new rules that a position player may only pitch if your team is up by 10 or down by 8 or more, obviously. And so in this situation, down by 13, they go to a position player. But look at these numbers from last year. We won't get anywhere close to that. 132 times we saw a position player pitching.
Walked Smith. Thompson flies out to right. And that's the first out of the inning. We have a moment now to hear from Jack in the Box.
Remember, 2 tacos a day keeps the hangry away. Download the Jack app and get them for 99 cents.
1 out. And Ezekiel Duran had a base hit last inning. He takes a sharp biting slider for strike 1.
So Peterson had 3 strikeouts to just 1 walk in his 4 innings coming into this one.
Oh boy. That ball's hammered out to left field, and it is gone. Duran with a 2-run homer. Tacks a few more on here tonight. 18-3.
Might seem unfair, but you got to take advantage of it when you have the opportunities. And a big smile from Ezekiel Duran, because at the end of the year, when he looks at his home run total, no one's going to say, well, you got to take 1 away because you faced a position player. It did look like a little cutter. It's an interesting grip that he had, did Peterson. And it's not easy to do. When we talk about hitting below or pitching below the hitting speed. And this is essentially batting practice, but even less when you think about how far away guys are.
I think he is trying to manipulate the ball a little bit, which is kind of fun.
You think they'll check his glove when he walks off the mound?
Oh, gosh. Well, season high in runs, season high in hits tonight. 18 runs on 17 hits. There's a strike. You know, I jokingly said Sborz probably not going to have to worry about hitting, but I think he's coming up. Wow. There's a walk to Jankowski. Oh, baby. Lucky duck. Now, are the guys in the bullpen starters, are they all thinking the same thing? Like, man.
Yes. They are all jealous right now. They are laughing it up. They are having a good time. Oh, my. Now, hopefully, I shouldn't say hopefully. There's always that possibility they told him not to swing.
Brett Hayes throwing his hands up in disgust, like, come on, man. Swing it. He's definitely not swinging, is he?
Come on, let's go. He's got 1 career at bat. He struck out.
I don't think he's going to swing.
Oh,
it's too bad.
come on.
Listen, I get it. You got
to. Let it fly, baby. Right here. Let it go. Oh.
So he strikes out, 2nd out of the inning. He's getting roundly booed by his teammates.
Well,
you kidding me? He got one more shot.
Oh, now he will take the big swing, I think. I think you come out of your usual routine and you let it fly.
8 RBIs. He's scored 5 runs. He has 3 homers and a double tonight. He's been hit by a pitch, and the count is 1-1. Would that be something else?
It's gonna be the one guy that gets him out tonight. It's gonna be Chase Peterson.
Last Ranger with a 4-homer game, Josh Hamilton, in May of 2012. 2-2 pitch, and that one is lined down into the left field corner. Another hit for Garcia, and he'll jog to second base. And that caps a pretty crazy night for Adolis.
And quite honestly, one of the more disappointing doubles we probably have ever seen in Macy all year long. It's hard to stay back when the pitch is coming in the 50s. He actually caught it off the end just a little bit. But an easy double.
16 total bases for Garcia.
What in the world?
Oh, man. 1-1 to Josh Young. And he'll lift this one down the right side. That's foul and out of play. Homer, 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 double for Garcia tonight. He was hit by a pitch in his second plate appearance. Pretty good week tonight. 1-2. That'll even things up. In the air, right field, slicing away, but Capel able to get to it, and the inning is done. Rangers will add a couple of runs on the Duran home run.
I think those boos might be for Josh Sborz. I don't know, but we know Adolis Garcia is having himself this monster night and finishes it up with his second double to go along with his 3 home runs this evening.
Is brought to you by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better, and by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. A big night for Rangers bats, particularly Adolis Garcia. The power of the Peagle tonight. 18-3 Rangers. City Connect night. Part Panther, part Eagle. And the Rangers have been invincible this evening as Spores out for a little more work in this ninth inning. There's the Peagle. It's pretty cool. Of all the elements with the City Connect jerseys, the Peagle seems to have captured the imagination of most. Big Peagle sculptures in the ballpark too, around and about it. Bumped into a few last night.
Really?
Pretty cool, yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Three and one the count. So bottom third of the order, Langeliers waits on a 3-1 and he'll foul this one away. Langeliers has walked tonight. He's been hit by a pitch. He's also struck out. Tomorrow, Jacob deGrom for the Rangers. And this one fouled away. (18-3), so an additional 15 runs at the moment for the Rangers to go to their positive run differential. Bouncer shortstop picked cleanly by Smith, one away. So if this score should hold as is, the Rangers will have outscored their opponents by a total of 57 runs. Now leading the way in baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays, they came into play today with a run differential of a positive 84. That is a huge number. The Rangers number is a huge number. Strike one to Smith. It's early. 20th game of the year for the Rangers. Well, they have to feel pretty good about the way things have gone. Bruce Bochy's been pretty relaxed. Seems confident. Every time there's a bump in the road, he reassures all that today is another day and could turn in the right direction. Like today, as a matter of fact. Spores yanks that one a little bit high. So I mentioned the next series for the Rangers. They're off to Cincinnati, currently the last place team in the National League Central. Cincinnati off to a 7-13 start. They've dropped 4 in a row. Good breaking ball. Strike 3 called, and Smith turned back on the strikeout. 2 away. It's a third strikeout tonight for Spores. Well, nobody on base for Connor Capel.
First time. We'll get to see how he does with the pitch clock. Will he go 4 times? It's helmet off. He skipped the helmet off. He had been going helmet off and then kind of hit each bicep to his head, and then he would go each batting glove twice.
So he went right, left, right. So only got 3 in this time.
He's probably a mess right now.
Yeah, this is.
Here we go. Helmet 1, 2. Oh, only 1 tap. 1, 2, 3.
Yep. He's out of sorts. 1 and 1 the count.
It's my personal nightmare right here. Inconsistency.
Never hustle. Don't waste any time. Clock just restarted.
Oh, 4. I think, was it 3?
Not 3 again. Right, left, right.
That might have been a pitch clock violation there. He was really close.
1-2 pitch. Just missed.
There's the double. 2, 3.
Well, a great crowd tonight, 32,388, and they have had some fun tonight. Enjoyed these City Connects, the Peagle, the 2-2, and a swing and a miss. A strikeout ends it tonight. An exclamation point on an overall wild evening here at Globe Life Field with the Rangers victorious 18-3. We'll take a quick break. Come back and wrap it up in a moment.